Hello, today we're doing multi-step equations 3.3a. So before we start, you see in both of these problems we have parentheses. So remember back to chapter 2, what do we do when we have parentheses? That word for multiplying that number out front by both halves is called distribute. It's called a distributive property. We used our box to help us multiply. We put the 3/4 out front and then n plus 3. However, there are two ways to do this, depending on if it's going to be a nice number or not. You could draw the box to multiply, like I said we have done, or this is really one number multiplied by our parentheses. If that's all you have, we really have a fraction that's multiplied. We can multiply by the reciprocal 4/3 times 4/3. So 4/4 cancels out, 3/3 cancels out, and we have whatever's in our parentheses, n plus 3, equal to, oops, where do we go? Come on. Equal to, on this side, this is really 9/1 if we make them both fractions. 9 times 4 is 36, and 1 times 3 is 3. So if we simplify this side, 36 divided by 3, well, 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 6 two times, it should be 12. Haven't done anything, I just rewrote that side. So now we're down to a one-step equation. The opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3. So we have n equal to 9. Now that, getting rid of our fraction by multiplying by the reciprocal, is just one way you can solve this type of question. Make sure if you're going to do this strategy that all you have is distributing on one side here. Another way, like we learned earlier, is to multiply the 1/2 by both sides. And I'm going to make this equal to, and then whatever's on our other side of our equation. On the left, we're just multiplying half of 8, or 1/2 times 8. Half of 8 is 4, so we have 4x. Half of -6 is going to be a -3. So we have 4x minus 3 equal to 5. The reason why I didn't use this strategy over here is because 3/4 times 3 might not be a nice number. It'd be 9/4, which isn't going to be the greatest. So that's why I used the multiply by the reciprocal on the left side. So next, getting rid of adding and subtracting first. Remember, we're doing our order of operations backwards. We're getting rid of adding and subtracting. This is multiply, so not the 4 yet. Add 3. So we have 4x equal to 5 plus 3 is 8. And then divide by 4. X should equal 8 divided by 4, which is 2. If you want to plug it back in for x and see if your answer gets 5. It should work out. Next, it says, what is the first step for these questions, or these equations? Again, we have multi-steps here. First thing I would do is notice we want to get our letter all by itself. In both of these, we have 2 letters. So first, I would combine your like terms. So on the same side of the equal sign, we can combine any like terms. Be careful that you include the negative with whatever it comes after, or whatever comes after it. 8 and a -3, there are more positives. 8 minus 3 is 5, so we have 5x. And then just copy the rest. Minus 10 equal to 20. Now, just like we did in the last one, we are just doing our order of operations. This is not working. PEMDAS. Backwards. So starting with adding and subtracting, we're going to get rid of that -10 and add 10. Those eliminate. We have 5x, and 20 plus 10 is 30. And then last, the opposite of multiply is divide. So divide by 5 on both sides. 5 over 5 is just 1, so we have 1x, or just x. And then 30 divided by 5, 5 times 6 is 30. So 6 should be our answer. Let's try the same thing on this next one. Combine your like terms. Be careful with your negatives. This is a negative 6k and this is a negative 7k. Same sign, add and keep. A negative 6 and a negative 7, that's really a negative 13k. So we have negative 31 equal to 8 minus 13k. Now, getting rid of adding and subtracting. It looks like you'd want to get rid of this 13, but that's multiplied. So we need to get rid of this 8. It's not a negative 8, it's a positive 8. So I'm going to subtract 8. 8 minus 8 eliminates. And negative 31 minus 8, they're all negatives. Same sign, add and keep. So it's really a negative 39. And then last, the opposite of multiplying. We're not adding. It looks like you want to add. The opposite of multiply is divide. We're dividing by negative 13 on both sides. So those eliminate. 13 over 13 is just 1. So 2 negatives here make a positive. 2 grumpy numbers get along. 13 goes into 39. Well, it's kind of easy to tell if you look at these numbers. 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. So it should go in 3 times. 13 times 3 would give you 39. Or just use your calculator. 39 divided by 13 is 3. Flip over to the back side. What is the first step for these equations? Now, we see a couple different things. I know we have more than one letter, but we can't combine our letters right away because this and this are not, we have these parentheses in the way. So to get rid of those parentheses, we need to, again, distribute. Right near the top, it doesn't work so well all the time. Distribute. So I'm going to draw my line down. To distribute this, we are distributing the negative 2 to both things inside our parentheses. If it helps you to make a box, multiply that out. Negative 2 and then x minus 5. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative times a negative makes a positive. 2 times 5 is 10. So we're done with those numbers, and we're going to bring down everything that we have. We have 6x minus 2x plus 10 equal to 46. All I did was rewrite the same equation again with this part distributed or multiplied. Now, just like the last one, we can combine our like terms. 6x and negative 2x. 6 minus 2 is 4, so we have 4x plus 10 equal to 46. And then undoing our order of operations, getting rid of adding and subtracting, subtract 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. 4x equals, this is a 0, 6 and 3, 36. And then last, the opposite of multiply is divide. Divide by 4 on both sides. 4 over 4 is just 1x or x. 36 divided by 4, we'll think 4 times what is 36? 4 times 9 is 36. Alright, next one like this, same thing. We need to distribute first. Some of you can multiply like this without drawing your box. I'm going to draw the box to multiply. We have 4 and then x minus 1. So we have 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. So we're done with those. We have 9 plus, this is a positive, that's why I'm putting a plus, plus 4x minus 4 equal to 25. So let's multiply, well not multiply, we're done multiplying, combining our like terms. This is the only term that has an x, so we have 4x. But then we have 9 and a negative 4. 9 minus 4 is 5, a positive 5, they're more positives. And then we just have a two-step equation. Undoing our order of operations, getting rid of adding and subtracting, I'm going to subtract 5. 5 minus 5 is 0, so we have 4x equal to 20. And then last, the opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. So x equals 20 divided by 4, which is 5. Let's take a look at our last two. It says, a little bit of geometry, find the value of x for the triangle or rectangle. Notice this keyword perimeter. It says a perimeter is 28 meters. So perimeter is adding up all the sides around the outside. The m is meters. That's what they're talking about. So we're not going to include that when we're counting it all up. We will include that on the end for our units. If the right side is x plus 1, the left side is also x plus 1. Same with the bottom, 3x plus 1. Top is 3x plus 1. So we're going to add all these up, so I'm going to combine all my x's first. 3x, this is really a 1x, 3x, and 1x. So 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 plus 1 more is 8. So we have 8 x's. Then, just our numbers, we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, which would be 4. But all of those added up, they told us had to equal 28. So we're really just solving this two-step equation. Get rid of adding and subtracting first. 8x. And then 28 minus 4 is 24. And then last, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So those eliminate and give us x equal to 3. 8 times 3 is 24. So if we plug this back in for x everywhere, it would all add up to 28 meters. So x is 3. The next one is a triangle, but perimeter is still found the same way. We're still going to add up all three sides. Again, we don't need to include feet when we're adding. This is a 1x though. If it helps you to write it out, we have 1x plus 2x plus 8, all equal to 23. On this one then, I would combine my like terms first. We did that on this one without writing it out. We could have written 3x plus 1 plus 1x plus 1 plus 3x plus 1. Too much work. 2x plus 1x is 3x. So just rewrote it. Always get rid of adding and subtracting first. Subtract 8. So we have 3x equal to 23. Take away 8 should give us 15. And then last, the opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So x should be 15 divided by 3 is 5. Let's check that. If I plugged in a 5, 2 times 5 is 10. This side would be 10. If I plugged in a 5 here, 1 times 5 is 5. And 8. If I add these up, 10 plus 8 is 18. 18 plus 5 does give us 23. So make sure to check if you're unsure. Otherwise, your homework is worksheet 3.